So this time I wanted to talk about vitamin D. And we are not getting enough vitamin D this summer, that's for sure. The sun is not shining as usual, and we know that here in Switzerland. And this is the time when the body stocks up, stores vitamin D for later in the year, for autumn and winter, when it's needed for, well, it's needed all year round, but now that's when the reserves of vitamin D are stored in our bodies, but it's not happening this year. So it's important to know that and to understand that vitamin D plays a very important role in every organ of our bodies, every function of our bodies, and we are now very aware of that, and especially related to the immune system. And for the immune system to be strong, not to boost the immune system, but for the immune system to be strong, it is important to have adequate levels of vitamin D. It's also very important for the bones, for the brain, for everything, but we are not getting enough. So, knowing that, I've started to apply vitamin D in ways that usually I just do during the winter, which is, apart from taking it internally, I apply it on the skin, because the skin is the longest and the biggest organ in the body, and the organ of the body that it's in most direct interaction with the sun and vitamin D. Vitamin D also exists in some foods, not many foods, but in some foods, mostly of animal origin. So if we don't eat wild caught fish, we are going to be deficient. I mean, most of us are deficient anyway, but it is important to understand that, and to understand that we are just not getting enough vitamin D. The best way to get vitamin D is in the sun. None of the supplements or creams that we put on our skin is a substitute for a wise interaction with the sunshine. So if you can get sun, let's do this. Let's get as much sun as possible in the morning. In the morning, the rays are the most gentle for the skin, and there is a very low risk of sunburn. And then in the afternoon, the sun rays are not as healthy for the skin. So get the sun rays while it's still a little cold is the best way to get vitamin D in your body and in general. So if you expose yourself too much to the sun, there's also protection, natural protection, but it blocks vitamin D, so that's not what we're talking about today. If wise interaction with the sun can be enhanced with beautiful oils like this one. Everybody loves the sunshine. It's beautiful, doesn't block the sun, and it enhances this golden tone that the sun can give to our skin. If sun, unfortunately the sun is not so strong this year, so let's do it. Let's use vitamin D, because it is important for our bodies. One way of doing it is to take vitamin D internally. The trick is to take not in pills, but in drops under the tongue. This is because then it goes directly into the bloodstream and doesn't have to go through the digestive system, so it's easily absorbed. And most people have some degree of digestive impairment, some degree, and so let's make it easy for the body. Let's just take it under the tongue, so it goes directly to the bloodstream, or put it on the skin. So I put 1 drop, 1 or 2 or 3 drops in my skin, and I take it also internally. This one actually has vitamin D and K2, which is excellent for the bones. So the next and much more fun way of using vitamin D externally is using a serum that has vitamin D. And this is what I use. Actually, this is the one I use in the winter, is the vitamin D cream, which is a beautiful cream on its own. It shouldn't even, in my understanding, it shouldn't be called vitamin D cream because it's just much more than a vitamin D cream. It's a beautiful cream for sensitive skin, and it also has vitamin D. So this is excellent for the skin. It has a very mild aroma, and I wish you could smell. And it's beautiful for sensitive skin, as I said. Recently, I found out that the Petal Primer, the Yoni Serum, has vitamin D. I was not aware of that. Or I was aware, but I didn't register in my brain. And so I started to use it. I use it both in my intimate parts and also on my face. This is originally for the vagina, right? And usually for pregnant women to use before or after pregnancy, or for people who have dryness or some kind of irritation in the vaginal area. And it makes sense. It's very clever that it has vitamin D, because originally we would get vitamin D also in that area, and it is a very sensitive area, and the skin is very thin and it absorbs vitamin D very well. But now we are not getting sun, not even in our skin. So vitamin D in a formula for the yoni is very, very clever, and it is a very, very gentle formula, obviously. And so I use it also in my skin and my face, because my skin has become a little bit sensitive recently, a little bit more sensitive. And this is just absolutely perfect, and I get my vitamin D also like this. It has also very healing oils like calendula, tamanu, and St. John's wort. It's absolutely perfect. So that's the way to do it. It's to take vitamin D internally under the tongue and apply serums with vitamin D. This will help us have a stronger immune system. It doesn't necessarily boost the immune system. We don't always want to boost the immune system, but we want to keep it healthy and strong. So we need to do it now, because we are not getting enough sun this summer. Maybe the summer will still come, but for now it's mostly very, very grey, and vitamin D is crucial really for the winter months. So yeah, that was my suggestion for you today, to use vitamin D in easily absorbable way under the tongue or on the skin. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.